Coach Jason Krause, first, congratulations. They announced after the game, 150th career win. And we've known each other when you were at Stebbins.
Yes.
And from Stebbins to Middletown to here. And I think every time you change the job, people said, why did you take that job?
Yeah, my family asked me that all the time. Every time I made the move, like, why are you moving again? But each time it's worked out. You know, I've been lucky, been fortunate to be working at some great places, and this one's an amazing place to work at, Fairfield High School.
Big win tonight to open the season. I saw you last year, week 1. You fell to Centerville. You learned from it. But this team here, they're a little different than what last year's team. Talk about your team this year.
Absolutely. You know, I think it starts with 28 seniors, a great senior class. You know, those guys, a lot of those guys, especially the guys that are playing now, played as sophomores that COVID year, and we took some lumps playing a bunch of sophomores. And you kind of know in our conference, if you got to play sophomores, that's not a good thing. But you know, they just gained so much experience over the last 2 years and went on a good run at the end of last season. Made some personnel changes after we started off kind of slow, and those personnel changes are stuck now. That's where they're playing, and it's been good for us.
You've had some talent, not just here, but other places you've been. Guys who have played big-time college football. One guy playing Major League Baseball, an all-star.
Yeah.
A couple guys in the NFL right now from here. You've got some talent on this team. Well, let's talk with the first off, the Twins that are verbally pledged to West Virginia. Talk about how special they are.
Well, first of all, they're special people. We talked about that prior to getting on this interview, and they are. They're great young men. They're twins, and they're team players, man. And they're great students, great people. But they are really good football players, and they're part of that special senior class. I don't know if I've had a class this deep in talent anywhere I've been.
One of your big guys, I'm so impressed with him, Thomas.
James Thomas.
James
yes.
Thomas. Saw him a year ago, and I even told him the night after the game, hey, I saw you last year as a tight end. I told him he was soft. And he agreed.
Yeah.
And usually a kid will never agree when you tell them they're soft.
Yeah.
But he's not soft anymore. He's proven his game. I think he's 2 years away from being a major force at the college level. Yeah. Talk about his growth over the last 12 months.
Well, physically, you know, obviously he's every bit of 6'6", 285, and he's strong. And he moves pretty well for a big guy. You know, he's picked up a bunch of offers this offseason. It's funny because he does have a couple of schools that have offered him as an O-lineman. They said that to him. But the majority are defensive linemen. And, you know, he's a big, strong kid in the middle there. And I think he's definitely a zero or a shade. But he's matured so much mentally. You know, like you said, it's hard for a kid to admit that they're soft. And most kids won't do that. But he kind of knows his limits, and he's worked over top of those, and he's kind of overcome a lot of things.
You've got a quarterback who's a junior, Talon Fisher, who a year ago had some struggles early in the season. Seemed as the season progressed, he got better each week. Your team got better. It looks like he's putting it all together, throwing the ball, but he's always been a threat to run it.
Yeah, you know, and I think that's a huge piece for us to try to be as balanced as we can. But, you know, he's a kid that just said, he just says, put it on my back, coach. I'll do whatever you need to do. And he's selfless. He's a selfless kid. You know, he won the MVP trophy tonight. First thing he said, he wanted to give it to his quarterback coach, the trophy. It happens to be my son, Hunter. But, you know, he said, I want to give this trophy to Hunter. I said, well, you guys can share it, you know, because obviously you did some things tonight to deserve that. So, but he's just an amazing kid, and I think the sky's the limit for him. He's becoming a better passer. I think he's going to surprise some people this year, the way he throws the football. He understands making the reads now. You know, he was playing as a freshman, and we talk about playing sophomores in our conference. He played as a freshman in our conference, and at that position, that's kind of unheard of. I haven't seen that happen many times in my career.
You lead right into my next question was, because I've watched Hunter grow up, and to see him coaching. I ran into him last year at week 1, and I saw him the night after the game. What's it like to have him now getting in this crazy profession called football coaching?
Right, you know, it's great. You know, I love working with him every day. He's teaching here at Fairfield now as well. Just to have him every day at practice and bouncing ideas off of each other. You know, that double move we threw in the third quarter for a touchdown, that was his idea at halftime. So it's just fun to hear him talk ball and fit into the staff and just be around. That brings a lot of youth to me, honestly. I don't feel quite as old. I should, because my son's coaching on our staff, but it just kind of brings a little bit of energy to me.
You're at a program that's always had some success. Yeah, you have your ups and downs because you're playing one of the toughest conferences in the GMC. But you've got the big thing on the wall, 1986 state champions. I know that's there for a reason to remind these kids it can be done here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk about when I ask the kids about their goals, the first thing they talk about is, hey, we want to win the GMC, but we want to get better as a team.
Right.
And what would it mean to you to make a run to get to a state championship type game?
Well, it mean everything, honestly. I think that's where this program needs to get to, is to get deeper in the playoffs. We've been there. We've won a couple of times, a couple of games, week 1, haven't got through week 2. And this group is a group that is ready, primed and ready to do that. And I think that's probably our biggest goal right now, is obviously taking them a week at a time. And like you said, our kids are on that. They're talking about, we just got to get better every day. You got to be 1-0 every day, and that's our kind of our philosophy. But if we keep doing the right things, we're going to have a chance to have a decent year.
When we talk Cincinnati football, a lot of people talk about the GCL, and for good reason. Those
Sure.
4 teams beat up on each other every season, and they always make strong runs, it seems like. But the GMC, year in, year out, the talent level is unbelievable. I think it might be the highest this year that I've seen in several years.
I believe that. It's my 15th year in the conference, and I think there's more parity in our conference right now than there ever has been. You got to bring your A game every night. We've always said that, but this year it's a fact. You got to bring your A game, and I think you talked about the talent in our conference. We looked at playing Wayne tonight and all of the skill and the 2 O linemen, obviously big time. We're used to that. We see that week in and week out in our conference. So it wasn't anything different for our kids. Obviously, a lot of respect for them. They're a good football team. But for our kids, the ANU over, big-time college recruits, we see that every night in the conference.
Again, congratulations. It's been fun watching your career develop. Many more years, many more wins to come, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And enjoy the season.
Dave, I appreciate it, man. Thank you, as always.
At First Star Logistics, we're a very strict company that really puts the pressure on our employees. Brakes? What are those?
That's what I'm talking about, Icky. Get the body right, then the mind's right.
Gotta get that body right.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Become a star with a chance to earn the highest commission percentages in the industry as a freight broker agent. Check out FirstStarLogistics.com.